Hi, good evening. So, alcohols. So, what is mean by alcohol? An alcohol is a compound that which contain a OH as a functional group. Okay. So, suppose whenever a compound is containing OH, so then those compounds are called as alcohols. Okay. For example, if we have CH3OH, so from the nomenclature, this is a methanol. So, whenever we have a OH as a functional group, so the name of the compound is ends with ol if your OH is a functional group. So this ol if your OH is a functional group. Suppose the same OH is present as a substitution, then we can say this is hydroxy. Okay, so remember this. So whenever we have a functional group, the OH is a functional group, then we can say this is alcohol. That is ends with ol. Whenever it is in a substitution, you can say the substitution is hydroxy. Okay. For example, whenever you have one carbon and it's with OH, then we can say this is methanol. So one carbon, so one carbon is meth. So if the compound contains two carbon, then it is eth. If it is contain three carbon, then that is prop. If it is contain four carbons, then that is but. If it contains five carbons, then that is pent. If the compound contains six carbons, then that is hex. If it is seven carbon, then this is hept. If it is eight, oct. If it is nine, non. And if it is 10, dec. Okay, like that. So whenever this compound is containing only one carbon, so we can say this is a methanol. Suppose the same one, if you have CH3, CH2OH. So this is nothing but we have two carbons and the OH is a functional group. So then this is ethanol. So similarly, for example, if you have three carbons, then we can say this is a propanol. Okay, so like this. And these alcohols are classified primary alcohol, secondary alcohol, and tertiary alcohol. Okay, so these are example of monohydric compounds. Monohydric. So that means, so now we are discussing about the compounds which are containing only one OH group. See what is meant by this primary. So for example, CH3 OH, sorry, CH3OH. So this is what? This is methanol. Okay. For example, if you have CH3, CH, CH3, OH. So this is what? This is propane 2-ol. Okay. Similarly, for example, if you have like this, CH3, 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 OH. So then this is what? If this is your main chain, 1, 2, 3. So the substitution will comes first. So the name of the compound is 2-methyl propane 2-ol. Propane 2-ol. Okay. So in this order, primary, what is secondary and what is tertiary? See, for example, so this is an example of secondary alcohol. Okay. So then what is primary? For example, if you have a compound like CH3, CH2, OH. So this is a primary. Okay. So whatever the carbon that is linking with OH group, it contains one alkyl group. One alkyl group. So then we can say this is a primary alcohol. Whenever a carbon which is linked with the OH group, if it contains two alkyl groups, then we can say that is secondary. So whenever it is contained 3 alkyl group, then we can say that is a tertiary. Okay. Suppose if your alcohol is, so whatever the examples what I said now, so this is an example of saturated alcohols. So that means saturated alcohols. So in the case of saturated alcohols, all the carbons are sp3 hybridized. Okay, see if you see, so here also it is sp3, here also it is sp3, here also it is sp3, here also. Okay, so in all such cases, the carbon is sp3 hybridized. So these are example of saturated alcohol. So similarly, we can say about unsaturated alcohols also. For example, if you have an alcohol like CH3, CH double bond, CH, OH. So in this compound, we have both sp3 as well as sp2 hybridized carbon. So this is an example of what? So this is an example of unsaturated alcohol. Okay, and what is the name of this compound? So let's give the numbering from this side. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have 3 carbons and we have unsaturation at the first carbon. So the name of the compound is what? Prop 1 in 1 ol. Okay, so this is 3 carbons prop and the unsaturation is at first carbon. So prep 1 in 1 ol. Okay, so like this we can name the compounds which are monohydric. Okay, so that is the monohydric compounds are those which contains only one hydroxy group. So those are called as monohydric. Suppose a compound is containing 2 hydroxy groups, then we can say that is dihydric. Suppose the compound is containing 3 alcohol group, then we can say that is trihydric alcohols. So like this, so based on the number of hydroxy groups, we can say whether it is monohydric or monohydroxy, okay, dihydric, okay, or trihydric, like that. Okay, so whatever the compounds we discussed here, these are examples of monohydric alcohols only. Okay. Okay. So those are what saturated and unsaturated. So what are the common names of this? So for example, if you take some of the alcohols. So for example, if you want to write the common name for the alcohol, for example, if you have like whatever the alcohol we written now, okay. So that is, for example, if you have an alcohol like CH2, CH, CH2OH. So as per the nomenclature rules, okay. So the high priority should be given to the functional group. Okay. So this carbon should be considered as first carbon, and this is second carbon, and this is third carbon. Okay. So what is the common name of this one? So the common name of this one is, we can say this is an allyl alcohol. Allyl alcohol. So what is this allyl alcohol is? Okay. So the functional group is linked with sp3 carbon. Okay. So the carbon which is linked to functional group is linked with a carbon with the sp2 hybridized carbon, again which is again linked with sp2 hybridized carbon. So such type of compounds are called as allyl alcohol. For example, if you have CH2 double bond CHOH, see in this case the functional group which is linked with OH group, that is sp2 hybridized, and the carbon which is linked with functional group, it is again linked with sp2 carbon. So such type of compounds are called as vinyl. This is called as vinyl alcohol. Okay. If you want to write the IUPAC name for this one, what will be the IUPAC name for this one? So at the second carbon we have the unsaturation. So then 3 carbons we have. Prop, 2 in 1 ol. Okay. And what is the IUPAC name for this one? So this is 2 carbons we have. So it, okay, at first carbon, this is the first carbon. Okay. Okay, we can say like ethanol. So this is first carbon and this is second carbon. Okay. And if you want to write exactly, it 1 in 1 ol. So if you want to strictly speaking, this is the right IUPAC name for this compound. Similarly, suppose if you see some examples like, for example, if I have like this. So what is this? Is this allyl or vinyl? So this is allyl. So why this is allyl? This is sp3 carbon. So this sp3 is carbon is linked with sp2 carbon, we know. So all carbons in benzene is sp2 hybridized. This sp2 carbon is further linked with sp2 carbon. So this is an example of allyl alcohol. This is not phenol. Okay, this is alcohol. So phenol is different. So phenol, we can say phenol is one in which the OH group is linked with the benzene ring directly. Then we can say this is a phenol. Understood. So this is allyl alcohol. And this is what type of alcohol? Is this primary or secondary? So this is an example of primary alcohol. So similarly, for example, if we have OH, CH3, H, and this is what? Okay. So this is, we can say this is an example of secondary alcohol. For example, if we have like this, then we can say this is an example of tertiary alcohol. And these alcohols are soluble in water. Even though these alcohols are organic in nature, these alcohols are soluble in nature. Due to formation of hydrogen bond. Due to formation of hydrogen bonding. Okay. And coming to nomenclature. So how you can do the nomenclature? So for nomenclature of alcohols, we have two methods. One is carbonyl system. Another one is IUPAC system. What do you call IUPAC? Okay, IUPAC system. So these two methods are used to give the naming of the compound. Okay, let's see some examples in carbonyl system as well as this one. This is CH3, CH2OH. Okay, what is the name of this in carbonyl system? So in carbonyl system, we can say this is methyl carbinol. And in IUPAC, what we can call? In IUPAC, we can call, we have two carbons, right? So we can say this is ethanol. Or, okay, so ethanol. So in the carbonyl system, we can say this is methyl carbinol. So we have a methyl group. So this is called as methyl carbinol. Okay. So similarly, for example, if you take another compound like CH3, CH, CH3, CH2OH. Okay. So this is a carbinol. Apart from this carbinol, we have three carbons, right? Okay. So then what you can call? So this is, you can call isopropyl carbinol, you can call. Okay. So then what is the IUPAC name for this one? So this is the first carbon, and this is the second carbon, and this is the third carbon. So this is what? 2-methyl propanol, or you can say propane 1-ol. Okay. So this carbonyl system, this is outdated. So we are using only the nomenclature, IUPAC nomenclature system we are using to name the compounds. Okay. And what is the hybridization of oxygen here? So the hybridization of oxygen here, the hybridization of oxygen in alcohols is sp3 hybridized. Okay. And the bond angle is, 108 degrees and 9 minutes. So why this is the bond angle? It is like this. So generally the sp3 hybridized is 109 degrees should be there, right? So then why the bond angle is 108 degrees? What is the reason? So the reason is because of repulsive forces due to present in the lone pair of electrons on oxygen. So because of that reason, the bond angle is 108.9 instead of 109 degrees 28. Okay. So this is about nomenclature and introduction regarding the alcohols. In next class, we will discuss about preparation of alcohols. Okay. Thank you.